nice bike. I'm Doug Folks and I am an old man in Lycra, and today is the second time that I've teamed up with Titan Racing to bring you some useful information about their latest range of bikes. And this is their first MTB e-bike. Let me introduce you to the Titan Racing Nitric range. We've come out to the home of the Wild Boar Trails, Val de Charon in Wellington, South Africa, to get up close and personal with the bikes. In this episode, we'll check out the specs. We'll sit in the saddle and get some first-hand feedback with the sole intention of answering two questions. Do I want an e-bike? And more specifically, do I need a Titan Racing Nitric e-bike? I'm going to go into quite some detail shortly, but if you've only got 40 seconds to spare, here is your executive summary. The Titan Racing Nitric is a range of aluminium hardtail mountain bikes designed and built specifically with the enthusiastic first-time e-biker in mind. It uses the Shimano Steps drivetrain, it has 3 ride modes, and it will assist you up to 25 kilometers an hour for an average ride of about 75 k's. It's perfect for dirt or farm roads, easy to moderate trails, and even commuting. For the adventurous, boost mode will get you up most inclines, and the dropper seat post will help you negotiate safely through technical sections and downhill single track. Finally, the price range of between 48,000 and 62,000 Rand here in South Africa fits in just under most of the similar spec bikes, offering Titan Racing's now legendary quality and value for money. So let's say cheerio to the executives, and for the rest of us, let's fill in some blanks with details of this great value for money range. Shortly, we're going to see the bike in action and meet our guest rider, but first, let's spend a few minutes getting up close and personal with the Nitric range. The Nitric comes in 3 main variants: the entry-level Sport, the mid-range SE, and the top dog Elite. Both the Sport and the SE have an extra colourway in small and medium frame sizes. So let's look at the similarities and the differences between the bikes. All bikes use the tried and tested Shimano Steps motor system. And for those of you that haven't ridden an e-bike, I'm going to keep this as simple as possible. If you want specific technical info about the system, then I'll link to it in the description below. But here, for the rest of you, are the highlights and benefits it brings to you as the rider. It's a pedal assist motor with 60 Newton meters of torque, which is governed to 25 kilometers an hour. It has 3 modes, Eco, Trail and Boost, which are all fully customizable through the dedicated Shimano Steps app. It houses a 504 watt-hour internal battery that will give you a range of around 75 kilometers per full charge if ridden conservatively. Now, of course, this does depend on a bunch of things, like, for example, what power mode you're using, what your weight is, your style of riding, and the terrain, etc., etc., etc. The motor is neatly integrated into the frame, and I think it really looks sweet. Also shared on all models is the aluminium boost frame, Shimano brakes and hubs, and Vittoria 2.6 29-inch trail tyres. Onto the entry-level Sport. This has a 120mm SR fork, a 10-speed Shimano dual group set, and Shimano MT200 brakes, and it retails at a fraction under 48,000 Rand. Moving up to the SE, and you get upgraded FS Judy G120mm fork, more powerful M6000 Shimano dual brakes, and a SRAM SX Eagle 12-speed drivetrain with an 1150 cassette, and very importantly, an X-Fusion dropper seat post, and all of that for 57,000 Rand. Onto the top of the range Elite. Upgrades here include a RockShox Sector 120mm fork, Shimano M520 brakes, and Shimano's XT 12-speed drivetrain with their awesome 1051 cassette and the same 125mm dropper seat post. The Elite will set you back just under 62,000 Rand. Well, it certainly looks the part, but how does it ride? Let's meet the man in the saddle, our guest rider Leonardo van Onselen from Flandria Cycles in Stellenbosch. As well as an accomplished rider, Leonardo owns a bike shop, and so he is perfectly positioned to comment on the whole e-bike explosion. Leonardo, thanks for coming out on this beautiful sunny morning. You rode the top of the range Elite. How did you find it?
Doug, I really enjoyed it. I think it was a great bike. It is a great product. Very capable going up the hills. Shimano Steps motor makes life a lot easier. I think for me, I really enjoyed it on the downhills, on the flat roads, going up the hills. It just made my experience so much better.
So this is Titan Racing's first attempt at an MTB e-bike. It's a hardtail. What sort of limitations are there in a hardtail e-bike?
I think the main limitation is the fact that you don't have the suspension at the back. So especially when the trails get a bit more technical, the terrain gets rougher, there's comfort involved. But I think that's not what this bike is for. This is for starting into mountain biking, getting used to an e-bike, and it's sort of the first bike you buy before you progress to more extreme trails.
Okay, so obviously it does have limitations, as you say, but I mean, could you do like a 3-day stage race, something like Wines to Wales on a bike like this?
Yes, definitely. I think what struck me quite quickly on the bike was that it is fairly light for an e-bike. I think that makes something like Wines to Wales, where there's a portage section quite important, but the range on the battery is definitely there. The power is there, so for sure, no, you can definitely do a 3-day tour on that.
We're obviously here to talk about the Titan Racing Nitric, but you own a bike shop. Just tell me in general how the whole e-bike market is going these days.
For us, e-bikes is definitely here to stay. It came in a couple of years ago. There was a slow transition towards it. People didn't understand it. I think people's now realized what the advantages of having an e-bike. We sell a lot more e-bikes than our normal bikes in certain price ranges, and that really shows that people are moving over to enjoyment of sport more than just going out there and doing one lap of a route. They want to do 2 or 3 laps, or they want to go up a climb for 4 or 5 times, because the single track's the fun part. So for me, there's definitely a big increase in e-bike sales, and I think it's something that we'll see escalate over the next couple of years.
You know, who's buying an e-bike? What are the advantages of a bike like this with a motor?
The e-bikes for us started with older people buying it, male and female. That's sort of where we pointed to the market to a couple of years ago. It's really changed, it's evolved. There's younger people buying e-bikes, people that want their wives to be capable of riding with them. We've got guys that's in their mid-40s that just their day job doesn't allow them to ride a bike every day and be fit, but with the e-bike they can still ride with their mates who's stronger and fitter than what they are, and they can get up the mountains, because at the end of the day it's about enjoyment and being in nature and seeing the trails. So you don't want to be on the bottom trails, you want to be at the top of the mountain to enjoy the downhill.
Just as a final comment specifically about the Nitric range, what are your thoughts? Who's going to be buying this bike from you?
We will find that a lot of people transitioning into mountain biking will purchase this specific range of Titan Nitric e-bikes, and there's something for everyone. There's an entry level and there's a top level, and something to be able to ride with your spouse or have your kids come out and have fun with you on the trails.
Thanks, Leonardo. Okay, so let's just sum it up. If you are thinking of getting an e-bike for any of the reasons laid out in this video, just do it. As Leonardo says, they're here to stay, and you don't need to justify the purchase, and you don't need to be swayed by those who still think it's cheating. The essence of mountain biking, after all, is adventure. Getting out in nature, having fun and challenging yourself, enjoying the open air, and riding with your friends and loved ones. All e-bikes have done is make that more accessible to more people more often. And there is no better way to share the love than on a Titan Racing Nitric. For more information about this and all of the Titan Racing bikes, or to find a dealer, then you can just go to their website. From me, the old man in Lycra, keep well, and we'll see you next time. Also shared on all models is the aluminium boost frame. Shimano. Okay, sorry. You're just rolling, hey? Here come the dogs. Fucking dogs are going bananas. Hello there, please go through.
That looks very nice.
That looks a very nice e-bike there. You see, we're in the trails. We are right on the trails.